In this video, we will show you how to use Colorfront Transkoder for Dolby Vision mastering. Let's say that you have received an Apple ProRes file and Dolby Vision metadata from a color grading vendor. First, you need to import the ProRes file into your project. Next, load this file into the timeline by either dragging the clip into the timeline or using the V shortcut. This file is encoded in Rec 2020 PQ, but is limited to P3 color primaries. Keep this in mind, as it is critical for your final renderings. Now that our media is on the timeline, let's apply the Dolby Vision metadata to the track file. Once it is added, you'll see an orange line overlaying the clip. The individual vertical dotted lines indicate the individual edits to the Dolby Vision metadata. You will often need to add some head and tail formatting to your timeline as part of the mastering workflow. These additional edits also require Dolby Vision metadata. Let's take a look at how to do this. Using the Auto Edit feature, you can apply specific head and tail formatting. In this example, we'll add 5 seconds of black and color bars at the head and 5 seconds of black at the tail. Now, select the black and color bars to apply filler metadata to these clips using the Create Filler for Selected Events feature. The orange line extending over these clips confirms that Dolby Vision metadata is now applied. You're now set to prepare your final deliverables. We'll demonstrate how to create both a ProRes file and an IMF deliverable. For the ProRes deliverable, you first need to create a new Dolby Vision timeline XML file that contains the head and tail formatting. Next, you create the ProRes file. Use the P shortcut to navigate to the render page. Select ProRes 422HQ as the encoder, and make sure you select to render the timeline as a single file by selecting Per Timeline. It is also important to tag the ProRes color encoding to Rec 2020 PQ and set the mastering metadata to P3D65, which corresponds to your Dolby Vision metadata. Then, start the rendering using the Ctrl-R shortcut. To create an IMF deliverable, open the IMF Finalize window using Shift-D shortcut. There are several IMF presets available for common studio deliverables. For this demo, we will select a generic IMF encoder preset. In the encode settings, turn Dolby Vision on to encode the metadata in the video track. On the Color tab, set the color space to Rec 2020 HDR. Note that the mastering metadata cannot be changed as it is defined by the applied Dolby Vision metadata. We can choose whether to include the light level statistics in the IMF composition playlist. Selecting On lets Transkoder define the maxfall and max CLL. Choosing Use L6 metadata will set the CPL values based on the Dolby Vision L6 light level metadata. For this demo, we use the option Use L6 metadata. To create the IMF deliverable, go to the Settings tab and click Generate.